experience and membership that backs what you're building with American Express Business Platinum. Get 2 times membership rewards points per dollar on eligible purchases in key business categories, as well as on each eligible purchase of $5,000 or more, on up to $2 million in eligible purchases per calendar year. American Express Business Platinum. There's nothing like it. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-platinum.
Hello, everyone. Before we dive into today's episode, I wanted to remind you that my book, Drummers on Drumming, is available now on Amazon as both a paperback and an ebook. Based on the Big Fat 5 segment of this podcast, where I sit down with my favorite drummers to discuss the 5 records and stories that shaped their approach to the instrument, this book is packed with insights from the drummers who redefined how we think about the modern drum set. You can grab your copy now by checking the link in this episode's show notes or simply searching Drummers on Drumming on Amazon. So thank you for all the support, and now let's get into the show. What is up? Welcome back to Drummers on Drumming, a podcast powered by Big Fat Snare Drum. My name is Ben Hilsinger, and we're back with another installment of The Drum Panel. This week, I have my co-host, Eric Urea, on the show with me, as well as a returning guest of the podcast, but not so much the drum panel, E-Man. E-Man is an incredible drummer based in LA-ish, a little east of LA, and he is currently the drummer for Andy Grammer, but he's played with Gwen Stefani and a bunch of other very cool people, and he's just one of my go-to shit-talking buddies that I love. So here is my conversation. He's a great guy. I don't mean to describe him that way. But he's as good as I am good. So I love him. And I hope you guys have a good, enjoyable listen. Cheers. What's your main mental shift when it comes to working in the studio as opposed to live? If there was one or two you could pinpoint.
Yeah, I mean, cymbals for sure. I feel like actually my relationship to the click changes. To be honest, when I play live, my goal is to ignore the click, that it doesn't exist. It just kind of sits somewhere deep in my subconscious and it totally disappears. And I think in the studio, I'm a little bit more cognizant about where the click is. For me, I think my big self-conscious thing is that I want to work more on my spacing and really making sure that all the spacing is the correct length and that I'm not jumping the gun or freaking out. So when I do studio sessions, I'm a little bit more cognizant about where I'm sitting with the click than live. I just kind of let her rip live.
I care, I would say 95% about what it sounds like. Live, I don't really care. Because I've had this argument with front of house guys I love and front of house guys I hate, in the sense of how they mix. I remember telling a front of house guy, I was like, dude, right now, if we were to be like between Travis Barker and Sing Sing Sing, the kick drum sounds like Sing Sing Sing, and I don't want that on this pop song live, right? So, and in the studio, there's all these different variables with the kick and the snare and the toms and how they're ringing in the chorus versus how they're ringing in the verse, and sometimes none of that effing matters, and sometimes it's just like, I just care so much about how it sounds. Is the snare ring cool in the verse but not cool in the chorus, or vice versa? And I will obsess over that, and sometimes just retract the chorus with like a little more dampening, or retract the verse just so that it feels, because it's changing the way it feels and changing the top end and changing the air that's being moved. So I care so much about the sound. That stuff to me is what really matters, and then the timing is fixable, and I'm close, right? Like everybody in this beautiful Zoom right now can get really, really scary close to the grid. And so I think that at this level, timing shouldn't even be like a, as I just said, I sucked the other day, but like at this level, like it should just be good. It should just be really good. And then the differences between all of us is like what these individual things sound like.
Such a great answer.
Do you think that some people that focus more on getting to the grid, and that's their like, I just pride myself, and like whenever I send it out, people go like, did you grid it? And I say, no, that's all me. Do you think those people are able to make less musical decisions in the moment because they're not focusing on the things that you're talking about, because they're so focused. So it's almost like quantization, and speaking of all that stuff, has it become such the norm now that now we can actually be more musical in a way, because it's almost like the click doesn't matter as much anymore.
I don't think it's fair entirely to say that people who play like that are inherently less musical. I don't think I would go that far, but I do think that there is a problem in a lot of musicians in like a fear of being a little bit ugly. You know what I mean? Like, I like a musician who's a little bit ugly. I want a little bit of rawness. I want somebody to play the drums a little bit wrong. Don't sit up perfectly straight and give me that perfect German grip. Just stank face it and swipe your hand side to side. You know what I mean? Like, I think a little bit of ugliness goes a long way.
Well, I guess maybe not that they're inherently less musical, but I guess what I'm saying is maybe they don't see the forest for the trees kind of thing. You know, that they're so focused on like, let me zoom into that take. Yeah, I was on the grid, but then you actually zoom out. Like, is it a good take though? Like, were they good choices? Are the dynamics good? Do the transitions make sense? But they're just like, I don't know. I don't hear any flamming on the kick drum. It's like, yeah, but nowadays we're lucky enough to where you can take risks more. Like, a lot of times there's like, if I know it's a live take and they're not going to be doing quantization, the song's going great and I'm on like the last outro chorus and there's like a part that I'm like, I could extend myself, but this is such a good take, I'm just going to keep coasting because I don't want to mess it up. But if you weren't worried about, well, if I flub it a little bit, they can fix it, then I will make that musical choice and still give it my all till the very end, as opposed to playing it safe because I don't want to mess up the take. You know what I mean?
I think you mess up the take. I think people would rather have somebody, especially if there's other people in the room, right? It's different if I'm in here. Like, the amount of times I'm playing something and I go, fuck, that was the chorus. 2 bars back, get in, punch. Like, I don't care. Sure. I started working that way so much because one of the things about the sound, too, is, like, I've gotten so comfortable with, like, being able to punch things in and getting velocities correct that half of the time I don't do crossfades because I remember what was the last thing I hit, and I try to hit it so that when I do get the punch is happening like on a kick drum or on a snare drum, and whatever was ringing is still ringing. It's close enough where you're not going to get it, like the pressure of the room is changing or anything like that. So like, I care more about that. Like, oh, I screwed up, but that verse was it. Cool. Let's just punch in, keep going. I can think of a session I did last week where it was like more of a smooth jazz thing, and the last like solo section and the last outro had like a bunch of chops in between. It probably took me 10 takes, but everything leading up to there, the first 2 takes was awesome. So I just punched in and I just fixed. Like, you're talking about like editing and all this stuff. Like, is there an album or a song out there right now that did not get auto-tuned? Probably yes, but anything pop-wise, massive amount of auto-tune on every single one of those stacks. So like, to me, I don't at this point like put lipstick on this pig because I don't care.
Just let me pick the shade of lipstick. Other than that, yeah.
Everybody's getting fixed. It's not just the drums. It's not just the bass. Everybody's getting fixed because everyone's shooting for perfection, you know?
What piece of gear throughout musical history, whether you would use it or not, would you want to have possession of?
Ooh, I need time. I don't collect. I'm not a collector. I don't give a...
As you have 5,000 snares behind you.
I was just going to say.
I've said this, and I'll say it again. The only reason is out of pure laziness.
Okay. I can take them off your hands.
Please come over if you want to come out to the boonies. You know where I live.
Yeah, I do.
But for me, it's more of like, I just don't want to sit there and be like, I got to tune this thing down. And, maybe the Evans HD Dry is too thick for this Black Beauty right now for this song. I just don't want to. I want the brain space to be like, how does it sound? That's all I care about. So that, not being a collector with a guy with a shit ton of drums surrounded.
Every
drums.
Collector has a reason why they're not a collector. That's just so you know.
You know, it would be something I could use all the time. So it would probably be like a bunch of really old hard microphones that you can't get a hold of anymore. Like 10 C12s. Just to have them and put them on my toms like Picaro did on his instructional video. Like, that's wild. There were so many of those in that period that they put them on toms, and now they're what, like $40,000? 25 grand, something like that. Like,
Are they dynamic microphones?
no, they're just like super high-end AKGs, condenser microphones.
On toms. Wow.
Yeah. Now we put 414s on there, like, and I'm sure they were doing it then, but like, now I'm going to go look. How much is a C12? Okay, there's a vintage AKG C12 on soundpure.com, which I've never heard of.
Me neither.
$27,000.
Jeez.
Probably some of that, or like maybe some vintage U67s. I feel like I could just use those all the time, and I could just have them.
What if there was something that you weren't going to use in any sort of practical make money off it?
Probably like whatever the bell brass that Grohl actually used, whatever it was. That'd be cool. It's probably one of those Terminators that are around, but like, that'd be cool. I actually got to record one a very long time ago on this like pop country album. It wasn't T2, but it was a bell brass that came from what's his name?
Drum Doctor.
From Ross. And it had just come from a Pearl Jam session. And so it had I'll never forget this. I probably have a picture of it. It had like 2 pieces of line paper with a circle played through. It was all gaffed on there, and it had like verse, chorus, and then like eighth note notation stuff. And I just played it, and same thing. Like, I was like, oh, this sounds weird. Like, I didn't connect with it, and then when we heard it back, it was like douche. It was perfect.
Exactly.
Yeah. So probably that. Oh, you know what? Actually, of all the things, the ride cymbal Tony Williams plays on Nefertiti, that is like, I don't understand it. I don't care who tries to make the copy of it. It's not that. That thing, whatever the hell it was, I want that. Yeah, I want that cymbal.
How about this? When was the last time a piece of music gave you the goosebumps?
Ooh.
Or a performance which would be involved in a piece of music just performed live?
This is going to sound so douchey, but I was in rehearsals for this thing I did with Nicole Scherzinger last year, and she's an incredible singer. Outside of the Pussycat Dolls thing, like, I can count now on my hand 5 singers that have made me cry, and she was the 5th one. And we were in rehearsals, and she did a piece that it was just her piano and strings, #tracks, and it was unreal. I was sitting there like goosebumps, like, holy crap, like at center staging. I was just like, and those rooms sound terrible. They're like,
yeah.
I'm sitting there, my drums are just ringing because of like all the side fills. Yeah. And I just took my ears out, and I was just listening to her vocal, nothing else. And her vocal was the only thing in the room, and I was like, Jesus Christ, this lady is singing, and she's like singing from a place I've never experienced anybody sing from before. And then to be able to watch it, because one of the things we did got filmed, and like watch it, it came out in theaters, and some of us in the band went to go watch it, and like it happened there again, and I was just sitting there like, geez, like, this is amazing. Like, she's just so good. No wonder she won a freaking Tony, and she's so well respected as a singer, you know? So that was probably the last time. I forget what the song was, but it was just like, I wasn't playing, so it didn't matter.
That's why it was so moving.
It wasn't in time.
Yeah, exactly. What about you, Eric?
There's this pop artist that I love called Dagny. I think she's Norwegian. She's always in my Spotify top 10, like every year.
Dagny?
Dagny.
Okay.
I was listening to her most recent album, and there's a song near the end called Close that just like, I'd heard it a billion times, but it just like, I was really paying attention to it one day, and I was just like, oh man, that song just takes me out. Really good lyrics, powerful song.
Yeah, this was a performance, and I'm not sure if I've talked about it on the podcast, but it was when Cannons was playing Coachella in 2023, and Mark Hoppus was diagnosed with cancer in 2021, I want to say, and that was the first celebrity. I was on vacation at the time, and I saw his story, and that was the first celebrity that really, it like ruined my day. Like, I was kind of inconsolable for the rest of the day, because it was such a huge part of my personality is so much based on their kind of don't take yourself too seriously, poo-poo and pee-pee jokes. And that was the first time I was like, fuck, this one really hits me. And so when he's now cancer-free, he's been in remission for like 4 years, but I saw him 2 years after he was cancer-free, and it was the first time Blink came back, and it was the second weekend because Frank Ocean pulled out of the second weekend, so then Blink was named the Sunday night headliner, and that's the day that Cannons was playing. And when Mark walked on stage, and I think they played Family Reunion, which is just like a dirty song, but it brought me back to being a little kid and thinking that I would never see Mark again, and him being such a big part of my personality, whether I listen to Blink that much anymore these days or not. I remember being so emotional when he was on stage. Everything came flooding in, and it made me feel so connected to like why I'm a musician. I'm like, oh yeah, this does matter. But it's also a reason why being a human and kind of having a personality outside of my music I create, because I don't like Blink for their music solely. It's of what they represent to me, which is again why I'm not as much of a purist with music anymore. That was pretty important to me, and probably a top 5 memory for the rest of my life.
UFOs are weird, man.
They exist.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. You know those friends who support your preference for podcasts over music on road trips? That's the energy State Farm brings to insurance. With over 19,000 local agents, they help you find the coverage that fits your needs, so you can spend less time worrying about insurance and more time enjoying the ride. Download the State Farm app or go online at statefarm.com. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Tomorrow morning is knocking. Stock your fridge now. How about a creamy mocha frappuccino drink? Or a sweet vanilla? Smooth caramel maybe? Or a white chocolate mocha? Whichever you choose, delicious coffee awaits. Find Starbucks Frappuccino drinks wherever you buy your groceries.
You can take this however you want, but when did you stop trying on the drums? When did you stop trying to sound like someone else?
Are we supposed to stop? Is that...
Well, you can take it that way too. Maybe the caveat is, if you have, when?
Man, I don't know if I could really pinpoint something like that. But I do feel like part of what I always think about and certainly talk about with my students is I feel like any kind of artist is just kind of an amalgamation of all of their heroes. There's a part of me that still is like, oh, I'm gonna do the Josh Freese fill here, and then I'm gonna do the Gavin Harrison groove, or whatever. So I think there's a little bit of all of those things that I still do.
Well, it's funny you say that. Not funny. It's very articulate that you say that. And Questlove has a book called Creative Quest. It basically just talks about his pursuit and his perspective on creativity. And he starts off the book saying like, the reason why he's so prolific is because he has no qualms about going into a song and being like, all right, well, how would this drummer approach this? He acknowledges sometimes that drummer might be a better fit for this gig, but how would that person do it through me? And that's how he's created his voice as Questlove, which is undeniably singular.
If you really break it down, it's like, let's say Questlove's biggest influence is Clyde Stubblefield, and he's trying to play like Clyde Stubblefield. He will still be a version of Clyde Stubblefield that has heard Jay Dilla before. That spin inherently is going to be different. That's immediately going to be something that nobody's ever heard before.
True. I don't know if I ever stopped. I think kind of like the Questlove thing. Like there are definitely times where I'll just be like, what would Weckl do in this moment? Like last week I was tracking that smooth jazz thing, and it definitely needed like the flam fill thing.
Blojda?
Yeah, but it has another name. Like it needed that, and in my head I was like, oh, how would Weckl play? Oh, he'd probably do the 10 to the 12 and then the 14, and then go in sixes. And I was like, okay, cool. Now you did that. Now what would Vinny do? And in my head, I still think that like anytime I'm playing like a cheesy rock song, I think like what's this? Kenny Aronoff always plays this signature snare drum fill where it's like, it's like he plays it all the time in a bunch of different songs, and I've heard him do it live, and it's like, okay, well, all right, I got that one in the bag, and I've always like, it's a Rolodex for me. I just go like, okay, that one, pull it out, put it back in. And visually, I've never really looked like anyone because I didn't grow up. I wasn't allowed to listen to secular music. So, like, for me, the guys I looked up to were playing, like, 2 Up, 2 Down Gretsch kits in, like, a church worship setting, with chimes on the side.
The music,
so, like,
yeah.
So it's hard for me to get rid of my chimes nowadays, and it makes it hard when I'm trying to edit, but it's pretty cool.
Again, I can take those off your hands.
Do you crossfade the chimes when you...
Yeah, after I compress the living snot out of them.
Yeah.
It's how I get my room sound. Eric, I don't really know anything about you. Can you hit me with like 90 seconds of you?
Oh, geez. An elevator pitch?
Yes.
So I live in Chicago, and then I have my own original band, Marina City, and then I do a lot of session work with different artists out here.
Sick.
I have to ask you too, Eric. This has been bugging me for a long time. How do you get to your drum set? Is it to the left?
It's this way. I have to squeeze back here. It's pretty gnarly. This room is tiny.
What kind of drums are we looking at here?
It's a Gretsch Renown.
That's his first ever kit, if I remember.
Whoa.
It is, actually. I'm very spoiled with this kit.
Well, speaking of Kenny Aronoff, is he the reason why you do the toms reversed? Or is that just something that you figured out that worked for you?
I actually saw a dude on YouTube break it down, and I never identified with anything more. I kind of discovered it totally independently. It stems from, I like playing a 4-piece kit, but I wanted to have the 10-inch. So I still have the 4-piece kit set up, but then the 10-inch in that second rack tom spot just kind of, it's like a little accessory pop of color.
Nice.
You know what's funny about this setup that I've been struggling with, and I'm curious what Kenny Aronoff does is how you pan it. If you just suck it up and you flip the toms to be normal, because we want the descending, left to right in our ears, or do you just kind of have it not descending and fuck it, who cares?
I would assume they would do it in descending order, because I think the reason why I think it would be functional is because instead of going right left, you can like start with the high and then go to the left, and you can end with the right hand on the floor. You don't have to do as much like crossing over when you have a higher pitch tuned or higher tuned one on the right. Your fills can be a little more open handed if it's not just like dun dun dun. But I would still maybe for the listener pan it.
Ironically, the 2 times I've been fortunate to see him track, he didn't have a 10-inch rack tom.
Oh.
It was like 13 or 14. Yeah, it was like a 13 or a 14 and then 16, 18. I remember that both times. And it was like a yellowish Tama Star Classic both times. I didn't care at the time what was happening.
Maybe you saw AI Kenny. You saw Clippy Kenny. Clippy Aronoff.
Kenny Aronoff.
Clippy Clarenoff.
Clippy Clarenoff.
All right, guys. Well, I have to go practice my first LP rehearsals tomorrow, and they just added 2 more songs, so I have to go do that the next few hours. But
when does tour start?
So we're doing one Mexico show that we leave for next Friday, just one off, and then come back, and then we start the Europe tour. Rehearsals for the Europe tour in mid-June, and then we leave after like a few days rehearsal. Then I'm gone till like August 15th. Wow. Have a week off, then we start a 7-week Europe tour, 2 weeks off, then we go back to Mexico and Europe, and then it's insane. I always tell people no one tours for 9 months straight. That's not how tours work, but basically I am.
Ka-ching.
And that's the show. If you're listening on a platform that allows ratings and reviews, do that. It helps more people find the show, so it'll get bigger and better, and hopefully I'll have a chance to sell out one day. But you'll be an OG listener that can brag to all your friends. Anyways, why don't you go and check us out at bigfatsnaredrum.com and follow us on all the socials. Just search for Big Fat Snare Drum and you will find us. The show is edited in part using Isotope RX Audio Editor. It's amazing, so go check that out at isotope.com. And thanks again to Gunnar Olsen for the theme music. Bye!
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.